better daily, where we work hard in our minds, bodies, and our spirits to become 1% better every single day. Download the app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live to catch the video version of these podcasts. Here's your host and my dad, Alex Van Houten.
What is up, Betterment family? This is Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Happy Thursday. It's Word Thursday, and today's word is honesty. I'm very excited to share that with you guys today. So the word honesty is an interesting word. By definition, most people think of honesty as the quality of telling the truth. Perhaps. I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old at home. We are currently in the stage of childhood where children learn to lie, and, well, it's funny because why wouldn't you lie? Honestly, it's actually hard to articulate that to a child, because what lying is the manipulation of reality to get what you want right now. and man, kids are really good at that. They learn how to keep a straight face, and they try to pull a few strings here and there. And my children are honestly, they're honestly, come on, Alex. That's the word today. They are normally very honest children, which is wonderful. But at the same time, sometimes they see a way to get out of trouble or see something that they want. And so, well, they tell a lie. And that's what we think of as honesty. You've probably heard honesty is the best policy. We think of not telling lies, right? But the etymology of the word honesty goes back quite a ways. Around the 10th or 11th century, the French version of honesty that I'm not even going to try to pronounce actually means to be free of fraud. There's other ways of interpreting that, marked by integrity. It could be a firm grasp of the truth or the courage to tell the truth. There are a few different ways of thinking about that, but I really like that idea of freedom from fraud, and I want to tell you why. So I'm reading a book right now called Opening Up by Writing It Down. It's a very, very interesting trek through the literature of expressive emotional writing. So Dr. John Pennebaker, back in the late 80s, did an amazing set of research studies that really launched something powerful in the psychological community. And let me explain what he did at the very beginning. I've said this before on this shortcast, maybe not in such a succinct fashion, by encouraging you to write things down, but check this out. So what he did is he took a few hundred undergraduate students and he split them into two groups. In one group of undergraduate students, he had write for 15 minutes, 4 days a week, write for 15 minutes. They came into the lab and they wrote for 15 minutes about like superficial stuff. So, what color are your shoes? Tell me about your classes this semester. What are your plans for the future with regard to your career? So relatively superficial stuff, normal things that an undergraduate student would have to talk about. To the other half of the randomly assigned students, he asked them to write for 15 minutes, 4 times this week. They had to come into the lab for 15 minutes and write 4 times this week. They had to write about their most traumatic memory. And so they wrote for 15 minutes. And what they found is that the group who had to write about the traumatic memory, and there are several studies that came after this that I'll unpack and talk more about in the future, but for today's Word Thursday on honesty, I really want to drill down on this. They found that these students, within the next 6 months, visited the student health center less often, so they had less self-reported physical ailments for which they sought medical attention. When the flu season came around, they had a way lower incidence of flu among that group than the group who had to write about superficial things. And then when you ask those students 6 months later about their experience, they told you that writing my most traumatic memory was actually a very helpful and insightful thing for me. I found it to be meaningful, and many of them actually thanked him for asking them to be a part of the study, which is pretty crazy, right? You'd think that what does writing things down have to do with health, or what does writing things down have to do with getting the flu or not? And remember the etymology of this word honesty, freedom from fraud. he discusses, Dr. Pennebaker in this book and in subsequent studies, he discusses the idea that there are many things that we've lied about to ourselves, or at least we haven't dealt with the secret, we haven't dealt with the problem. And that's a big deal in honesty, because honesty is the idea that, look, no matter what happens externally, at least I'm put together internally. I'm free of faults. I have spoken the truth. I know the truth. I haven't been lying to myself. I know the truth. I've spoken the truth. And I've kept myself from twisting reality around me. And in this book and in the research literature around expressive writing, one of the most powerful things that they've found is that holding on to something that is truth, it happened or you did it or whatever, it is truth, holding on to something, but, well, being fraudulent about it, either because you're not speaking it or because you're acting in a way that lets people believe that it's not true, that's hard on you. It's physically hard on you. It takes a toll on your immune system. One of the studies that they found, when they were truthful to themselves and in their writing, right, when they were truthful, and it's not even like they had to speak it from a stage, okay, they just wrote it down. They actually found that the immune function of these individuals significantly improved within an hour of writing down the truth. And then they also found that this was robust for the next 6 months, that they actually had improved immune function, like their immune system, in fact, was healing them faster. In one study of writing down the truth, writing down a difficult truth, in one study, the research subjects were, they consented to having a piece of their, you ever had a mole removed? It's like a punch, and they take a little piece of your flesh out, real small, but they take a little piece of your flesh out. And in this particular study where they had to write down the truth, some people had to write down about superficial things. Again, that's kind of the control group. It's like, hey, in this group, you're going to write about your time management for tomorrow. You're going to write down your grocery list for next week. You're going to spend 15 minutes writing about something pretty innocuous, pretty superficial and innocent. But in the other group, it's like, write down a secret that you've never told anybody. Write down a secret that's bothering you. And in the group where the individuals wrote down something pretty intense, they wrote down a secret that was bothering them. What they found was they consented to having a little piece of flesh taken out of them, the little punch, that the group that wrote that down actually healed twice as fast. The hole closed up twice as fast. That's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it crazy to think about? That honesty, speaking the truth, being free from fraud, that honesty can actually bring about healing. Not just oh, I feel better, but actual, physical, immunological, at the level of the immune system, healing. If that doesn't blow your mind, that blows my mind. And so, imagine me trying to articulate to my sons the importance of honesty. Not just tell the truth because it's good, tell the truth because people will trust you, tell the truth because God wants you to. Tell the truth because if you hold on to enough lies, it will eat at you on the inside out. It'll make it hard, and it will make it hard for you to heal. It will hurt you. You won't know it at the time because you think you're getting what you want, but it will hurt you on the inside. And I say often in my house that, look, you're probably still going to get in trouble for the truth sometimes, but you're going to get in a lot less trouble than if you tried to cover it up with lies. And, maybe you're not 7 years old and you already know that telling the truth is a good policy. But I find very, very often with adults, especially if I sit down in a one-on-one lunch, or if I've got somebody working out in my garage gym, or maybe we're hiking, oftentimes it's very easy for somebody to say, I've never said this to anyone, but, and then they go on to say something that, man, I can't believe you held that in for so long. Please be honest. Please be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with anybody else, please write it down, because I would love for you to be free from fraud. And if you're on a betterment journey, one of the things that could be better about you, one of the things that would help you become 1% better every day, is to have a high-functioning immune system and no secrets. No secrets that you're holding on to. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to air your dirty laundry to the entire community of people that you're a part of, but I am encouraging you to engage in that. And you'll see that sometimes here in the Better Daily community. You'll see that individuals will do expressive writing in our community. And I love that about this community because, if you're on social media, one of the powerful things about social media is at any given time, you have a ready audience. So you can get on Facebook, you can get on Instagram, you can get on Twitter, and you can post whatever you want, right? It's like a superpower. I don't know if we should all have it, but anyway, the point is, it's a superpower that can be used for great good or for great evil. And sometimes you could go to express yourself, and then everybody's going to share their opinion with you. They're going to say things like, well, I don't know if you need to see it that way, or I wouldn't treat my kids like that if I were you, or, well, I'm very sorry that this happened to you. Maybe you should try this. But here in Better Daily, it's not the way things generally go. If you share some expressive writing, maybe you share a prayer, maybe you share a struggle that you had in your health and fitness journey, maybe you share a question that's been difficult for you. And I mean, you can scroll through the deep, dark secrets that people need to share with an individual. They usually share that in a one-on-one setting, messages or calls or whatever. I wouldn't post that to the whole wide world. It would be very anxiety-provoking for you. But what I love about this community is that when we're honest with ourselves and honest with each other, it's an encouraging thing. People will like it. People will give you a high five. People will drop a encouraging gift. People might even actually say something inspiring and encouraging. But I don't know what it is about this place. Maybe we've filtered out the opinionated stuff. Maybe it's because we've laid the foundation and set the groundwork and expectation that this is a place for betterment. But there's no tearing down that happens here. I'm very thankful for that, and I want to thank you guys in this community that make that possible, that regularly are high-fiving people and slapping them on the butt and saying, hey, thanks for sharing, man, keep up the good work, or, oh, man, I hate that for you, but I'm really glad that you got that off your chest, or you're doing an amazing job, don't stop fighting the good fight. The people who are saying that, you are rocking our socks and making an awesome place for people to be honest with themselves and with their community to move forward and better. Keep that up. Honesty, the freedom from fraud. I want you to be free from fraud today. And if you're not, it doesn't have to happen all at once. It's a process. It's a process of weeding out one tiny little degrading thing from inside after another. And the more you put yourself together, the more integrity is to be integrated, to be put together. The more you put yourself together by weeding out those soft, terrible places, then, well, things get better for you. Things get better in your mind, things get better in your body, things get better in your spirit, and I want that for you. Guys, this has been Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Thank you for joining me for Word Thursday on the word honesty. It's not just telling the truth, it's being free from fraud. Until next time, guys, it's just 1%. You got this.
Thank you for joining us for 1% Better today. Don't forget to subscribe for the podcast. Leave us a raving review to tell others how Better Daily has helped you in your journey. If you want more Better Daily, download our app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live. Use code POD to get 25% off your subscription. That's POD, all caps, to save 25% on your subscription. We all have a cross to carry. It's lighter when we do it together. Go to betterdaily.live today.